From the depths of this unholy tomb, the Avenger rises, the abominable Dr. Fives, the most deadly master.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate Shorts. I'm your host, Neil, joined as husband, my brother from another mother, and your host, Derek.
Yeah.
And together, we bring you another short
Look,
version.
Dr. Carey there. Look, Dr. Carey there. Folks, like, share, comment, subscribe. It says she is over there. Yeah, that's she.
No, the other side.
She over there. That's Dr. Carey there. But ready? Here we go. My husband left me for my daughter when she turned 18. Now they have a family. This follows on the New York Post. It was submitted by my guy Stephen Wu. He said this with the express intention to trigger both of you. He said this one for Carrie and Neil. So big up Stephen Wu, man.
Wicked is...
Ready?
No.
Do you gotta do here? Do you gotta do, man? Just have at it.
You know the New York Post be wailing sometimes. So, a woman shares her disgust after her ex-husband started a family with her daughter. Tiffany felt like all her dreams had come true when she met Mark. At the time, she had a 3-year-old daughter and had found dating as a single mom predictably hard. So meeting a man who wanted to raise her daughter and build a family together felt like she had won the lottery. My life felt perfect. In 2010, I had a son with my husband. My life was then complete. I had 2 kids, a great... Come on, man. Let's be professional here. My life was then complete. I had 2 kids, a great husband, a house, car, nice job. Life was great, the 40-year-old American wrote on Reddit. Reddit is also another place that's pretty wild. My husband announced that he was in a relationship with my daughter. Face to face, Carrie Ann.
Bumbucket!
Tiffany had no idea that just 7 years later, her entire perfect world would come crumbling down. It happened shortly after her daughter's 18th birthday when Mark suddenly announced that he was done with their marriage. This is grooming 101. He told me that he was now in a relationship with my daughter and was leaving me for her, an emotional Tiffany recounted. I couldn't believe this. I couldn't process it. I felt crushed, angry, disgusted, mad, every feeling I could feel. My now ex-husband never gave me creepy vibes, but if he got with my daughter when she was 18, I'm sure something had been going on while she was a minor. That's a pretty good assumption and a guess. My daughter doesn't see how it's wrong or gross, but nothing Tiffany said stopped either of them from leaving and getting together, explaining that her daughter especially didn't seem to understand why her mom was so upset and angry. But what has happened there is that her daughter said, well, hey, shoot, this is my father. Fair game. Anyhow, I continue. She doesn't see how it's wrong or gross. She doesn't care about me. He doesn't see an issue too, obviously. But my own daughter? Come on, Tiffany added. A year later, the new couple got pregnant.
Jesus Christ.
Which was when Tiffany decided to cut them both out of her life. I had my ex-husband stop coming around completely. And my ex is okay with not seeing our son now that he has his new family, she explained. My son has had some hard times understanding why his sister and dad are gone. I haven't told him the truth. Obviously not. Maybe I should, but he's only 10. Yeah, I don't want to mess up that little man's life. I would be a beat on telling him that too. I told him his sister went to university and his dad had to go away for a while. Her kids are my grandchildren. I have siblings with my son. It's been 4 years since then, and Tiffany learned through a family member that her daughter was at the time pregnant with a second baby. This means that her now 44-year-old ex-husband has 2 children with Tiffany's now 22-year-old daughter. She now has 2 kids with my ex-husband, the man who raised her like she was his own daughter, who she now has kids with, she said. Her kids are my grandchildren, who also happen to be half siblings with my son. How sick is that? It's disgusting. Indeed it is. I'm still not over this. I don't know how to get over this. I just want to move on. Your thoughts, folks?
So, to be clear, his son has a niece and a nephew, whatever, from his sister and his father.
Yes.
How would you rock?
The man is whooping his son's sister.
Yes.
Dr. Carey?
Go ahead.
all jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, all jokes, and I mean this, I ain't trying to be facetious or whatever, like, I'm serious. Nothing bothers me more in this life than the ruination of a child's innocence. When you take away a child's innocence, that's a lot of people like to say raping of women, adult women, is the worst thing that can happen on this planet. I actually disagree. I think the worst thing that can happen is when something like that happens to a child. Grooming, assault, all them things happening to a child. You meet this woman when she had a 3-year-old daughter. Y'all got married, and I don't know, shoot, it could be the most detached father-stepdaughter situation in the history of man. The point remains is that you would have seen that child go
Yeah, she said as much. Your mother said as much.
Stage of life. Let me put it to you like this, right? Let me show you just how upset this makes me, right? I had a co-worker of mine. I was young 20s. I had a co-worker of mine, older woman than me. She had a daughter that at the time was 9, right? I worked with her for a few years. I saw her going to secondary school. And then, that was obviously some time ago, a couple of decades. And now, I saw her a couple months ago, the daughter, and she is a full-fledged woman. She's an attractive woman, right? But never, and this ain't no relation to me now, I want to be very clear. Me and this woman ain't got no relation, nothing, other than I used to give the mother a ride home from work and pick up the daughter in the juggling. I see this girl in primary school uniform. I cannot imagine looking at that woman in a sexual context as an adult woman of nearly 30 years old. And that is me that ain't got nothing to do with that child. So play a daddy role to this child. And all the while you got one like, this one is not, I thought this was going to be triggering in a funny sense, but it's triggering in a different sense to me. I do not believe that there are people out there, unfortunately it's mostly men. I cannot believe that this situation, when you read the headline, the first thing that came to my mind is Woody Allen. Those of you that don't know the story of Woody Allen, he was married to a famous woman, the woman named Farrow, I can't remember, but anyhow, Mia Farrow, right?
Mia Farrow.
Right, they adopted a child, and then come now, this man, at the tender age of 67, decided he can start a relationship with the daughter when she came of age, right? And a lot of people wanted to cancel Woody Allen and stuff like that, but there's no evidence of wrongdoing, and of course the woman is legal, they're both consenting adults, etc., etc., etc. But to me, that is the height of disgusting. There is a short we would have covered where a woman shares her husband with her mother and sister, right? And I remember Dr. Carey saying that was reprehensible, that was disgusting, no bloodlines, right? But in this case, this is the height of disgusting. I cannot imagine the mentality of someone that does that.
It's a pedophile.
Exactly what he is. I want to be clear too. There's another thing I want to be clear. This is not the norm for men. Because I know a lot of people will run with this and say, see, men ain't good, this and that next. This is not the norm. This is a very minuscule subsection of the male population that thinks like this and operates like this. Right? So let me be clear.
Spectrum of mental illness. Let us just be clear. This is a mental illness.
Right. So don't run with this and say, look, when a man ain't good or when about it. No. I can't even like, you could say to this in terms of protection of the child and protecting, because I'm not going to call that woman's parental instincts into question. Because she clearly would have thought that this is a man that is going to love and protect me, protect my child. He accepted the child as his own or whatever. And
I think he did that for most of his life, to hear her tell it.
Yeah.
Because she said he was a great husband and all that.
That's disgusting, yo.
I think it is it is a mental disorder. It's a mental illness, these situations. And I agree. I mean, it is just, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And there's no way to justify anything. Because if you come into the trial now and tell me, oh, I never started to look at her in that way until she was 18. Sir.
Impossible.
Because for me, having raised like Derek and I, we are fathers and we were raising children, right? Like for me, going through, there are certain development stages of a child that you will endure as a parent, whether you are a blood parent or you're a step parent.
Absolutely.
The point remains is that you will go through falls, failures, crying, teething, wet in bed, bullying, sickness, illness, hospital visits. How do you translate that paternal love and instinct and emotion into a relationship? Nah. I ain't care how you grow up to look. I don't care. That is you twisted.
And I didn't even know the Woody Allen story. And similarly there, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Straight mental disorder. That is no justification. There is absolutely no justification.
Well, for me, as a guy who's been teaching now for 25 years, and I can definitely really understand and relate to what you're saying here, Neil, because you see children every day come up, and it's always interesting as the girls get older and they get to class first stage, you realize they start to talk to you a little bit differently and all that. And it's like, okay, I gotta watch that. But even when they come back to the school after, they go to secondary school or whatever, and then they come back even after they've finished school, you still always see them as children, as little children. So to approach a situation like this and they say, you know what? Yeah, I down for whatever I hear, and I come up with she from 3 years old, but this is my girl here. No, this is my wife. As you said, Dr. Kerry, there's a little bit of sickness going on there, but not a little bit.
That's sickness. You're the doctor, Dr. Kerry. I would default to you saying it's a mental sickness, but for me, a mental illness. Sorry, but for me, that is. To me, mental illness is depression. Mental illness is schizophrenia. Mental illness is
right. So I was going to get into it and help you kind of parse it out a little bit more, because what it also flags for me is that sociopathic tendency, right? Because you play a role. This man played this particular role where the wife thought, oh, this is the most absolute wonderful thing, right? Sociopaths do that. And in the process, whoever they're about to create as a victim becomes the person that they start grooming. So my mind went to places considering case studies I've worked on, and even some of the counseling sessions I've had with young children. And to hear certain words that people who are victimizing children use, I was like playing them through, and they groom them. There's a whole grooming procedure that takes place, and it does take over years like that if they want to be. They play the long game. And it's a very disgusting and sociopathic, mentally disordered, mentally unwell reality that we have people like that around us.
Yeah, and that goes back now to on the flip side with the lady who said that she had a threesome with her guy and his mother. So you see, again, that's some grooming now coming through, because when he can say, hey, come and do what you do best, that is grooming across a lifespan.
That was because that one, when you guys played that one, I said, oh my God, this woman has been abusing her son for years. Because for you to get to this point where you've now involved someone else, and to make that type of statement for someone to hear,
you are comfortable. Been
years. That is years in the making. That just happened 2 years ago. That's years in the making. It's disgusting. It is disgusting.
Listen, before we get out of here, right? I gotta say this, right? People be very, very vigilant with your children.
Yes.
Be very hyper, overprotective, vigilant. Don't let a boy shame you for taking care of your child. If you are overprotective with your child, that's fine.
That's fine.
Right? If you are overbearing, that's a different conversation. But please be vigilant with your children. Even if you have a child before with another partner and you going into a situation with another person.
Especially
then. Be very, very vigilant, because you see stories like this here, this really gets to me and it bothers me. As children, I had a good childhood. I rumble, play, ride bicycles, came my knee, rose bed fruit, climb trees, play akis. I had fun. I think every child deserves that, and it hurts me when children get into these situations where they are afraid of people that are there, that have taken up the role or have been there to protect them.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, on the surface, they may nothing, you may, again, with the Allen situation, there's no legal wrongdoing in that there's no evidence of anything before she was
illegal,
18.
but it ain't right.
Yeah, but it ain't right. It is morally wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah? So please, I implore people out there, you have a job as a parent. Yes, you got a partner. Yes, you may have an ex-partner. You may got whatever, but the child ain't got just you. If you and the father or the mother of the child is alive, you all have to figure out when to BS as adults and take care and protect your children. This world ain't sweet.
Yeah, it also makes you wonder what happened to the father of the actual daughter.
The child, right? That's the other question.
What would he have to say about the situation?
As far as they're concerned, he gotta be dead. He gotta be dead. I cannot imagine having a child and that.
Married, my daughter is not married to her stepfather. Yeah, that not fly. Not flying nowhere.
Dead.
He must be dead. Yeah, it's such a serious topic that I really think, as Neil is, cautioning people, there are certain signs to look for, and I think you guys may need to have a longer conversation about that, because too many of our children are being molested, manipulated, and just poorly taken advantage of in such ways that are just egregious. It's horrific. So that's just a plug to say that, you guys might want to do a longer conversation about that, because a lot of people are, having different types of relationships and their children are involved.
Well, I don't know if that's a conversation the lawyer are qualified to have, so maybe that's one you could lead. Ain't here. Folks, this has been another Silent Short. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about this one in the comment section for real. Hit the notification bell to ensure that you do not miss any of the content we got coming for you. We're going to see you guys again soon.
Yep. It's a contaminated environment. In the tutus about that.